The derivatives market right now has quadrillions of dollars flowing through it every single year. Right now, the ISDA and other institutions that process derivatives are moving to the blockchain. This video is going to be about XRP, Ripple, the ISDA, and derivatives. This is what could send XRP to an extremely high price if we're able to get access and start processing derivatives on the XRP ledger. So let's start here. Just in, Ripple becomes a member of the ISDA, officially partnering with over 1,000 institutions in 79 countries. This is really big news. Last year, derivatives industry body ISDA releases digital asset standards. Yesterday, the International Swaps and Derivatives Association published definitions for digital asset derivatives. It also released one of two white papers on what happens in the event of a bankruptcy. I think this was about FTX. The initial set of ISDA definitions cover non-deliverable forwards and options for Bitcoin and Ether. However, the association sees that as a starting point that could include tokenized securities and other DLT-based assets in the future. The definitions don't apply to data. So listen, they are working to move the derivatives market on to blockchain. All right. The reason that this is important is the ISDA, like I said, has 1,000 member institutions in 76 countries. Also, here is some financial information about the ISDA that I was able to find through ChatGPT. It says the International Swaps and Derivatives Association does not directly process financial transactions. It says it plays a pivotal role in standardizing and promoting the safe and efficient derivatives market globally. The actual processing of derivative transactions is conducted by market participants, including banks, financial institutions, and central counterparties. As of June 2023, the global over-the-counter derivatives market and notional outstanding amount is $714 trillion. Let that sink in, okay? $714 trillion. We know that banks, central banks, and financial institutions are wanting to move to blockchain. Why? Because right now, with the advancement of quantum computers, I don't think Web 2 is very safe. Once bad actors get a hold of a quantum computer, they can do some crazy stuff. And so when you move these markets and infrastructures to blockchain, that can help protect those financial markets. And so imagine getting even 10% of $700 trillion on the XRP ledger. That would be $70 trillion on the XRP ledger. That alone could send XRP into the hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. It's really crazy, okay? And this talks a little bit more about who they are, but we did cover that really well already. Real world tokenization is poised to drive greater efficiency, accessibility, and transparency across the global financial markets, and its growth can be largely attributed to the rise of DeFi protocols and increasing interest from financial institutions and governments. Here is something that Cypress Smart Corp pulled, right? 16 trillion by 2030. Personally, I think this could be a lot higher. Looks like it says banking report says real world asset tokenization could see a 50x growth, potentially reaching 10 trillion. If you take a look how much money these banks have as they move this value onto blockchain, we are going to capture some of this on the XRP ledger. And then also you have something called the CME Group. So CME Group's parent organization is the International Monetary Market. The International Monetary Market is the parent company of the CME Group. Some of the largest shareholders of the CME Group include Vanguard Group, BlackRock, Capital International Investors, State Street Corp, JP Morgan Chase, and then Capital World Investors. CME Group is the world's leading derivatives marketplace, formed by a merger of the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, Chicago Bond Trade Exchange. So it's basically this is even bigger than what we're talking about with the ISDA. Become a member of the ISDA, International Swaps Derivatives. We did talk about that. $1.2 quadrillion. It's not insane to think that the XRP ledger is going to capture some of this. Also, there are XRP currency trading pairs with CME Group. Just a reminder, the CME Group is the world's largest derivatives exchange. So you already have some connections with XRP and the CME Group. And of course, CME Group is a global derivatives marketplace that provides products, services, and trading, risk management, and portfolio optimization, right? Does talk a little bit more about the history, guys. If you want to pause the video and read that, please go ahead and do so. You also have this from Jack Rippler. CME Group, the world's largest derivative marketplace, is embarking on a significant collaboration to develop an XRP index. XRP will be used to bridge $1.2 quadrillion marketplace. If this does happen, you're looking at an XRP price in the 5 digits. ladies and gentlemen, that is what we're talking about here. Okay. We don't know if it's going to play out like this, right? But there is a road, right? We're heading down this road. It's going to split into all these different ways, right? There is a chance that we find a lot of value makes its way onto the XRP ledger because you're going to have the liquidity to do so. Listen to this gentleman right here. This is from Smoke. This is from UC Berkeley. If you're interested in blockchain and you really want to make money, then you should be looking into derivatives. This will blow your mind. Listen.
If you're interested in blockchain,
it is a little blurry. I do apologize. So this says unsecured loans, stock market, total loans, size of the economy, GDP, bond markets, financial household wealth, total debt, forwards, futures and options, total household wealth, all derivatives and derivative swaps, and then all derivatives. So now you know what it says.
you want to make money? Forget about sending money back to your uncle in France. This is where you should be thinking. This is the size of the entire economy of the world right here, GDP. This is the notional principle of all derivatives, okay? These are all forwards, futures, and options. And these are all derivatives except interest rate swaps. This right here, interest rate swaps. Biggest universe that most of you have never heard of. Millions of lawyers, millions of traders, millions of accounts. All that can be put on the blockchain, okay? And all this clearing system and settlement system, which we took, Dodd-Frank is like this thick. This much of it has to do with clearing and settling of swaps. Okay, it's a nightmare. It's a mess. And we can take this whole system and simplify it with distributed ledgers.
We can take this whole system and make it easier with distributed ledger technology. Okay, that is what's happening, ladies and gentlemen, right in front of our eyes. All we have to do is dig a little deeper to really understand what's happening here. And it's really magical. I get excited when I talk about this. This is from XRP Drops. Ripple is deeply connected. For example, Rahul Advani, Policy Director APAC, has been the head of public policy at the ISDA Asia and worked several years at Bloomberg. If you take a look at this experience, right, you have somebody working for the ISDA, head of public policy Asia Pacific, then goes to work for Ripple full time. This was obviously 2 years, 8 months. So this is maybe a little older, but Ripple has some of the most incredible people working there. And believe me, when they hire people, they're hiring people for specific reasons that have specific backgrounds to help them better understand this market so they can play in the market. You also have this from the why XRP added to CME Group derivatives real-time reference rates is very important. The derivative markets is the end game for value. Let me go ahead and play this. It says in this video by the ICA Ripple partner, they describe how derivatives market is on the cusp of technology revolution while discussing their CDM model built for blockchain. Here we go.
The derivatives market is safer and more transparent than ever before, but the infrastructure that supports it is complex, disjointed, and costly to maintain. Managing basic processes throughout the life of a trade is manually intensive. Each firm has developed its own way of describing common events, like trade termination, compression, or the exercise of an option. This increases the potential for inconsistencies between firms. Constantly correcting this is a big drain on resources and is not sustainable. Fortunately, new technologies such as distributed ledger and smart contracts offer the potential for greater automation and efficiency, reducing complexity and costs. But effective automation can only be built on standardization. If each technology uses its own set of representations for trade events, then we'll simply recreate the existing disjoint.
Okay, so what this is explaining right now is the banking system is a very siloed system. What that means is it's very difficult to move value between banks. It takes quite a long time. It's the same thing for derivatives and financial institutions that are processing these transactions. If everyone builds their own silo, we've created a new economy, but it's the same thing, right? So what they're trying to do is making everything interoperable. And it's not just XRP that's going to gain some market share here. You have Hedera, you probably have some XLM, and there's probably a host of other blockchains that are going to have some of this value being transferred and built on it. I don't know if ADA is part of it. I think it might be, but here, let's continue with this. Sorry about the interruption.
Infrastructure. To realize the full potential of these technologies, we need a common representation of trade events. That's where the ISDA common domain model comes in. ISDA's aim is to create a comprehensive standard digital blueprint for how derivatives are traded and managed right across the life cycle of a trade. The ISDA CDN will enhance consistency across firms and platforms, providing a bedrock of standards upon which new technologies can be applied. The derivatives market is on the cusp of a technology revolution.
Yep.
The ISDA CDN will help realize that potential.
Guys, this is truly, truly incredible what's happening right in front of our eyes, right? And then, of course, Ripple joins the ISDA. There's a lot of other companies, though, that are also part of the ISDA. So just want to make that very clear. I'm not saying that Ripple is going to get all of this. I think they will get a share, and a lot of other great blockchains will also get some love in this too. You have this from Michael David Gibson. ISDA's common domain model goes on top of DLT, CDM plus ISO 20022 plus digital token identifier, also known as DTI. Common domain model using an integrated infrastructure allows DLT recommended information to be retrieved in ISO 20022 reporting. Remember, the world is moving toward this new ISO standard. If you don't know what ISO 20022 is, let me explain it for you. Right now, there's all of these different messaging standards that banks use, and sometimes they don't talk with each other because this bank might not use the same messaging standard. What they are trying to do here is they're trying to move every bank, every financial institution to this new standard that everybody will be on. And yes, this new standard will allow crypto to be a part of any payment and transaction in that new system. Okay. And so that's what it is. I recommend doing some Google searches too, if you want some more information, but you have basically XML, Swift, EG, DLT Cloud, APIs, ISO, and then you have FIX. This is pretty massive what's happening here. You also have common domain model goes on top of the distributed ledger technology as a logical model, as CDM uses standards and interacts easily with smart contracts in order to achieve fluidity and security tokens processing in full interoperability with existing systems, right? That's why interoperability is so important. All of these blockchains are connected, right? And then allows access to information recorded in the DLT, enriched data, ISO. Sounds good. And then you have this from Cypress to Monocore also too. For anyone that tells you banks won't adopt crypto, listen up.
So Matthias, from your perspective, how is it looking like for the traditional financial systems to be able to build this new infrastructure and integrate it well with the traditional setups?
The question addressed to me, also, of course, as an important part to play as well there. Yeah, on the side of the banks, as we are quite fortunate, as I mentioned, many of the traditional banks are now already adopted cryptocurrencies into their core banking systems. This is very notable because what that means is most banks in Switzerland, with the exception of one that I know, actually set it up like security. So when you have a cryptocurrency in a core banking system, it's set up like a security. And that means that from a processes perspective, the hurdle for the bank to integrate into the digital asset space is a lot of the work has already been done. And then, as I mentioned also, it's very crucial how you deal with the cash leg of a transaction.
So Matthias.
So he said that a lot of banks in Switzerland have already moved towards DLT. I'd imagine that the faster banks understand how important DLT is to their payments infrastructure, the faster that we're going to get adoption, right? And we've all seen this clip 100 times, but still it speaks to what we're talking about here. We're talking about derivatives. We're talking about real world assets and tokenization. And of course, Graham Rodford thinks that he will be able to take his company ArcX and move $30 to $50 trillion on the XRP ledger over the next few months, right? Or excuse me, next few years. This is just one company that thinks that they can do this, right? If we have 5, 10, 20 companies all trying to achieve mass adoption like this, can you imagine? You get the DTCC, which is the Depository Trust Clearing Corporation. They're moving towards blockchain. That's Project Ion. They were partnered with R3, Project Ion. This is a 6-year development, right? They process $2.1 quadrillion a year through this system, and they're moving to blockchain. R3 has been having some issues with actual customers. So I wonder if Ripple and XRP might be a solution if R3 does go under, right? And then I did ask some more questions about how much money is transacted in this. And that's it, guys. As we move to this new system, right? Owning a digital asset that has the opportunity to be embedded in the world's global financial market. That's what we're trying to do here. Okay. And yes, it takes time. Yes, we are speculating on what price we think XRP should be at right now, but don't get distracted. The price is a distraction. It's what the protocol does. It's what the protocol solves. That is really what we're talking about here. And when we get to the point where XRP has a true value, ladies and gentlemen, that's when we are all in a much better place. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you liking the video.